Hi all, welcome to the Daily Charts. My name is Michael. I'm the analyst and content creator here on the channel. Welcome. As of today, December 26th, you can clearly see what's going on. This is the 4-hour chart in Bitcoin. Going back nearly 6 weeks, and what we see is not a pretty sight. So basically, we moved lower, got supported at the 80, tried to move higher, got basically rejected at the 92, came back to the 80 area, came back up, trying to move above the 92. As you can see here, plenty of resistance. And now for the past 3 weeks, we're basically doing nothing, basically trading in this zero range. And we have to ask ourselves, what is the trend? And the answer is, we don't know what is the trend. Overall, the trend is lower after capturing all-time highs nearly 3 months ago. But that's obviously the long-term outlook, lower. But the short-term outlook, what is it? Do we have any outlook? Do we have any prospects? Are we moving higher or lower? So if Bitcoin was a stock, we could have said, okay, let's look at the sector. But this is basically the sector, so there are no drivers behind Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the driver. There are no earnings coming out. There are no earnings ever in Bitcoin. There are no news releases. Nothing positive or negative in the background. Although there are plenty of supporters for Bitcoin moving into 150 by the end of this year and by the end of next year, and 1 million in 3 years, and there are others that are basically spewing the opposite truths. So what's going on? Because most of us, let's face it, want to see Bitcoin thrive, and we want to find an entry point. And anytime I try to post an entry point in the last 3 to 4 months, the result, basically since the collapse on October 10th, yeah, October 10th, it was it, yeah, I nearly forgot the date, so 10/10. Um, Basically, since the collapse, we've seen this choppy um, price action, and now heading into the end of the year, this choppiness actually is increasing. Now we will have a surprise in the last couple of days, maybe at the beginning of next year. It's possible, but we cannot predict based on anything that we're seeing right now the outcome. Are we moving higher or lower? Like I said, there are no earnings to watch for. Um, so there are both sides of the market digging in, those that are pro Bitcoin and pro crypto, and the other side which is thinking that this is actually still a hoax after so many years, and actually very successful years. Basically, if we want to summarize what happened this year until October, great. Since October, we wiped out all the basically all the profits, and now Bitcoin is it's standing pretty much alone as the only leading asset that lost money this year. Now, if we're looking at this interesting diagram, obviously we can clearly see that the alternative assets, meaning basically the main alternative asset, being that Bitcoin is now described by the um, Prosayer as digital gold. So digital gold is up 64% this year. Bitcoin is down 6%. Now both of them lost another 9% on the dollar if you are investing using I don't know, the euro, maybe the yuan, maybe the Japanese yen, and basically versus the basket of international currencies you lost if you invested in either gold or Bitcoin, another 9%. But it hurts or stings more because if you add 6% plus 9%, and you are a foreign investor, you're really now looking kind of, not the best place to be compared to the alternative. Obviously, the Nasdaq did very well this year. These numbers are updated to December 16. This is done by this diagram was done by Mumu Research. Anyway, so we can clearly see Hang Seng delivered a great year. Nikkei delivered the Japanese Nikkei delivered a great year. The FTSE delivered a great year, and in the US, all three leading indexes delivered a great year for US investors. Not so bright and not so great if you're deducting the 10%, nearly 10% loss on the exchange rate. Anyway, if you want to summarize what we've seen this year in crypto and basically in Bitcoin is a lot of disappointment. Now, if you want to analyze the big five in cryptos or the big five, those are the numbers. Binance is basically the only one that delivered consistent gains throughout the year and is going to end up a positive, up 20% on the year. On the other hand, we have Bitcoin down 5, Ripple down 10, Ethereum down 11, Solana down 34. So you know those are the big five. I mean, I'm not going to dive into those nearly 50% or more losers, and there are plenty of them. And obviously, we are focusing, as always, mainly on the big three, which is Bitcoin, Ripple, Binance, and Ethereum. Let's call it the big four. So the overall performance versus the alternatives, and again, if the alternative, as presented by many investors and leading investors in the crypto world, meaning gold and silver, we clearly see a total discrepancy this year where money left, especially at the after late April, at the beginning of May, money started to outflow from basically from Bitcoin and maybe from other assets into gold, and obviously silver, which is now at all-time highs and delivered a stellar performance for this year. Now, if you're interested in a strategy heading into 2026, and people are asking me, actually a couple of viewers on our channel asked me if I like the strategy of long Bitcoin, short gold, short silver, and it sounds great, okay? Because why the discrepancy? Why is so money flowing into gold and silver versus Bitcoin? So we know that, or we assumed that it's true that the Chinese government and some other governments are buying into gold. Fine. Are they buying also into silver, or silver is just a retail thing? Silver is not that a common household investment. And once household or retail traders and investors started piling up into silver, that can create this ripple effect. So it sounds good. It sounds to me great, and can be a very profitable strategy. But you need to take into account what happens if. So you need to take into account that you will lose. If you lose and cap your losses, and it's everybody's decision how big your portfolio is going to be if you're going to dive into this strategy or perform this strategy, which is actually a very simple one. And you need to cap your losses, because sometimes trends continue for weeks, sometimes for months, sometimes for years, and we don't know. I don't know, at least, how to refer to the time factor in using this strategy. So basically, I like this strategy in terms of risk reward, but the risk is needs to be managed. So and the last question that I'm answering right now: do I see an entry point in Bitcoin? I'm not going to discuss other assets at this point. Hold on a second. So, do I see an entry point in Bitcoin? Obviously, everybody's talking about a long entry point. So two issues regarding a new entry point in Bitcoin. First of all, the trend, and let's move now to the daily chart. Um, the trend is terrible. So we're trending lower. So you want to buy on a downtrend, fine. Where is your stop loss if you're buying on a downtrend? Where is the support? The last level of support is clearly this 80 level. Hold on a second. This level at 80. So if you buy now at 88, that's roughly 10%. And as I mentioned before, you don't need to buy your whole position with one go. You can go ahead and buy a position at 88, then at 86, then at 84, then at 82, and move and have a stop loss under 88 by um, 1 or 2,000. I would have to say 78. So basically, you're gonna risk here. Hold on a second. If your stop loss is 78k, okay, and you buy on average at 84 or 85, you're still going to have the 10% risk on the trade. And this is something that you need to take into account. Obviously, you can be more accurate and try to buy at 82, and then you'll have 5% of risk, or in that ballpark. That's the only ideas that I can come up with at this point. I don't think we should buy any breakout at this point. All the breakouts over the last, or attempted breakouts over the last 3 months since we reached all-time highs failed miserably. So you can gather 5% on each, and I'm not even talking about being leveraged. If you are leveraged, you have a you encounter huge losses. But if you're not leveraged, you encounter 5% 4 times at least. That's 20% of loss on or 4 to 5 trades, maybe even more. So that's a very um, let's call it easy estimate, conservative estimate. So you attempt to buy, you can fail, and you may continue to move lower. So the idea here is, if you're trying to buy, try to buy it with a very measured risk. And again, if you are a long-term investor and thinking long-term, then things may look different to you, and then you can buy it here. Use a different strategy that I'm not or not capable to deliberate on it right now. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I hope it was helpful. Any questions and remarks, we're open. Use our email for any comments, or the comments below, or the comment section. Again, thanks for watching. Have a happy new year. See you in our next video.